What's it giving? Is it giving filter? Hey girl, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Faye, and for today's video, I am bringing you guys another foundation review for the oily skin girls. So as you can see by the title, today I'm going to be reviewing the new Easy Blur Natural Airbrush Foundation from Huda Beauty. I have the primer and the foundation. If you're like me, you guys have been seeing these everywhere, so you already know I had to pick them up because the claims, yeah, I really wanted to test it out because a filter in real life, say less. So we're gonna test it out today. If you enjoy the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up so that this video will be suggested to more people that might want to check out this review, and let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so first things first, we have the primer, of course. This is the Huda Beauty Easy Blur Silicone-Free Smoothing and Pore Minimizing Primer. It retails for $29 and claims to be a non-comedogenic jelly-like primer that controls excess oil, adds smooth texture, blurs pores, and gives you an airbrushed, soft, focused finish. So if you know, you know. Normally I would go in with a mattifying primer, but since this primer claims to do it all, we're gonna test that out today. So I'm gonna go ahead and just apply this all over the face before we jump into the foundation. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see right off the bat, it is kind of taking away the shine. All that I had on my face was moisturizer, so it definitely blurred the face and removed some of that shine from my moisturizer. I'm so used to applying like multiple primers. I'll be honest, I'm a little bit nervous about only using one, but we're gonna see how it holds up throughout the day. So this is how the face is looking with just the primer. I'll be honest, it's not as smoothing as my Smashbox primer, which you guys know that I love. And my skin also doesn't feel as like mattified or prepped as it does when I do like the layering of my primers. But it does feel good on the skin. It feels just a little bit tacky, which I think will be good for gripping the foundation. So we'll see. And also, I don't know if you guys noticed, but we do have two visitors for our video today, here and here. They weren't invited, but they're here. So we're just gonna let them, you know, be here for the party today, and we're just gonna keep it pushing. So next up, we have the foundation. This is the Easy Blur Natural Airbrush Foundation with niacinamide. You guys know how much we love a product with skincare ingredients around here, so I love that. It is a liquid formula and it claims to be lightweight, medium to buildable coverage, also non-comedogenic. It's supposed to be ultra blurring for an airbrush finish, and yeah, it's supposed to give you a medium coverage and natural finish. I think I said that already. So I picked mine up in the shade Gingerbread 430N. That is the color that I am in her other foundation, the Faux Filter foundation. So I just went with the same color that I use in her other one. Hopefully it'll match. And I do like that this is like a squeeze tube packaging, so just be careful when you're opening it because it will like start coming out because you literally squeeze the packaging for the product to come out. But let's go ahead and apply it to the skin. It looks a little bit light, but we'll see once we actually blend it in. And I did actually go into the store at first to like check the shades on this before I purchased it, because I was going back and forth on whether or not I wanted to pick this up or not. And the other shades around this one weren't really an amazing match, so I actually ended up ordering this online, and I just settled with the one that matched the shade that I have in the other foundation. So we're gonna see together how well it matches, which honestly, not bad, not bad. So let's go ahead and blend out the other side. Okay, so this is how we're looking after one layer. I would for sure say that this is giving medium coverage. I don't know if you guys can see, but I can definitely still see my dark spots peeking through. You can really see on this side. I think the shade looks pretty good. I'm not mad at the shade. Honestly, I think once I apply the rest of my products, the shade will look great. So if you are my foundation twin and you're curious about what shade you should pick up, I think 430N would be a good pick for you. But yeah, this is what we're looking like after one layer. Like I said, it's giving very much medium coverage. You can still see redness around my nose, my dark spots peeking through. It slightly covered my blemishes that I have going on the face right now, but they're not fully covered. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can layer this. I don't think it claimed to be buildable, but we're gonna just test it out because I'm definitely one of those people that has things that I want to cover. Like if I'm gonna be wearing foundation, I want to have a flawless finish. So I don't mind a medium coverage, but I do want to be able to build up in areas that I may need extra coverage. So let's just see. And I'm just gonna tap. I'm not gonna like swipe too much because again, at this point, I am trying to build it up. Okay, so this is how we're looking now after the second layer just on the cheek area. It actually built up nicely. I know it claims to be a medium coverage, but if you do need additional coverage, it's not giving full coverage at all, but I do think that it did give me a little bit of additional coverage compared to what it looked like with just the one layer. And honestly, with concealer and once I apply my powders and everything else, I think at the end of the day, it'll give me that natural for me coverage look, like that natural kind of skin-like look that I like to have, while still giving me some coverage on the areas that, you know, I want to cover and conceal. So this is how we're looking. One full layer on the face, one additional layer on the cheek area where I needed some extra coverage. So far so good. I think it looks pretty good. Again, I'm still a little bit nervous about only applying one primer, but I think the skin looks healthy. It looks hydrated. It looks, you know, it looks evened out. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of the face off camera. I know that I've been giving you guys like the full makeup look start to finish with my reviews, but today I think I'm just gonna focus on the foundation because I'm not gonna be doing anything like special with the face. It's gonna be my everyday look that I've been doing in all of my other videos so far, so nothing new there. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of my face. I'll come back once I finish and check in with you guys and let you know how everything is looking, and then of course we're gonna do a wear test throughout the day to see how it all holds up. All right, y'all, so I am back. What was probably a second for you is about 30 minutes or so later for me. I'm gonna give you guys a quick time check, although I'm probably going to start this back a little bit. So the time check currently is 4:43. I honestly kind of just took my sweet time doing the rest of my face today. I didn't have anywhere to go, or I don't have anywhere to go. So I was just in the vibes, and then I got to talking with my husband, and yeah. So technically this has been on my face since 4 p.m. So that's when we're gonna start the wear test for this foundation. But this is how the face is looking after applying all of the products. What do y'all think? What's it giving? Is it giving filter? Honestly, now that I have all of the products on my face, I'm trying to get up close so that you guys can see. It actually really does look like a light filter is on my skin. I'm gonna zoom you guys in just a little or a lot so you guys can see, like, look at my face. Now you can definitely see that it is very much a medium coverage. Like you can still see some of my dark spots, like my natural skin coming through on my face, which I don't really mind. Okay, I'm back y'all up a little bit. But yeah, I don't really mind that much. But as far as just overall my pores and like when I'm looking at myself in the mirror in the viewfinder, my skin definitely is giving like, I don't want to say flawless. I don't know if that's the word, but compared to how it just looks normally, this looks very smooth, I guess is a good word. Smooth, blurred, filtered, like real life blur. And especially for me to have not used my regular primers and I only used the this primer, I'm impressed with how this looks. But it also still looks skin-like to me, which is interesting. It's like it looks blurred and smooth, almost giving my skin but better, if that makes sense. Like, yes, I have makeup on, but it's giving my skin, but at like peak skinning, if that makes sense. So yeah, This is what it's giving. Like I said, we're going to start our wear test at 4 p.m. I'm going to try to wear this for you guys as long as I can. And then you guys, well, if you don't know, you may be new watching this video, but for those of y'all that know, you know, I'll come back and check in with you guys and let you guys know how it wore. I will not be touching up my face at all throughout the day. I'm just going to let it do its big one. Hopefully it's big one, and then I'll come back a little bit later and show you guys what it looks like. Oh, also I forgot to mention, if you care, my lip combo. I'm wearing this e.l.f. pencil that I showed you guys in my full face e.l.f. This is the Cream Glide lip liner in the shade. What shade is this? Okay, there's no shade on here, but I will try to put it on the screen or list it for you guys down below, but it's basically the brown shade. And then I mixed a little bit of this Fenty lip liner in Traced Out. And then all over my lips, I have on the Fenty Gloss Sticks. I've been obsessed with these. This one is in the shade 2 Lip Kiss. So if you were curious what the nude natural lip combo is, that's what I'm wearing. Okay, so I'm out. I'll be back in a few hours to give you guys a check-in. Hey y'all, so as promised, I am back with a check-in. It is currently 11:20 now, as you can see. So I have had this face on for about 7 hours, a little over 7 hours actually. And this is how the face is looking. So as far as the oil controlling claims, I would say I'm probably about as oily as I typically would be, maybe a little bit more, honestly, a little bit more oily than I typically would be at this point. Underneath my eyes still looks pretty good, but of course we didn't really put any foundation there. I did set underneath my eyes with the Huda Beauty loose setting powder, so shout out to them for that, but we already know that's a fan favorite. But as far as the rest of the face, I would definitely say that I am giving very much oily. This is not giving like radiant, natural looking, worn in makeup. In my opinion, this is giving very much oily skin. So per usual, or if you're new here, I'm gonna go in and blot my face with a tissue. I always do this just to see if it's possible to bring the makeup back to life. For example, if you're working a full 8-hour day and you want to go out afterwards, or if you just have a long day in general and you start to get oily, I always want to see, can I blot and repowder, and what is it going to be giving after that 6-7 hour mark. So let's go ahead and blot. And I'm going to do one side of my face first so that you guys can see what it looks like. And then we'll do the other side. Okay, so here is one side of the face blotted. Here is the other side, so you guys have the comparison without blotting the face, after blotting the face. So it looks pretty good. I will say it definitely settled around my nose. I did get pretty oily, which you guys can see around my nose area. So it did kind of settle in that area and break up a little bit there. We'll see how it looks once I actually reset with powder. But as far as on the rest of the face, I would say it still looks pretty good. It didn't break up or move around. It's not settling into my smile lines, which is a plus. So let's go ahead and blot. Oh, and also here is the tissue so you guys can see how much came off. So let's go ahead and blot the other side. Okay, so this is how we're looking after blotting the other side. I would say that the skin is still giving like radiant, not so much oily anymore, but it does still look kind of worn in, like it's giving like, it's not giving matte at all. It's giving like a very natural, radiant, worn in, my oils are coming through kind of look. Like I said, it did settle around my nose area, but everywhere else it looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and set the face. I'm going to be using my Urban Decay All Nighter setting powder per usual. This is the powder that I actually take with me when I'm on the go, so that is why I always pull this one out to set, because this is the one that more than likely 9 times out of 10 is going to be in my purse. So I'm just going to go over the entire face and reset and just kind of see what it's giving. Okay, and then I'm also going to zoom you guys in so that you guys can really see what the skin is looking like. So after setting the face, the skin actually looks pretty good. I'm not even gonna lie. If I was actually planning to continue wearing this face, I would also set with a setting spray just to kind of set all that powder down and lock it in. But I mean, you guys can see the skin looks pretty good. Again, like I said, it did, I don't know if you guys will be able to see like around my nose. how it kind of settled in those creases. I'm not sure if the camera's picking that up or not. I'm looking over here because that's where my viewfinder is. But it definitely settled around my nose area and kind of came off a little bit on like the top of my nose when I was blotting with the tissue. But besides that, I would say the rest of my face still looks pretty good. So like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, Huda Beauty does have another foundation, their Faux Filter, which is this one right here. I absolutely love this foundation. It is full coverage. It wears beautifully on the skin throughout the day. Definitely a fan of this one. So far with this one, I'm kind of still on the fence. If I had to rate it right now, I would give it like a 7 out of 10. But I'm wondering if this primer had anything to do with it, because for those of you guys that watch my videos, you know that I typically go in with a pretty like 2 to 3 different primers for like oil controlling and smoothing and just different things to like really prep the skin. I'm really big on skin prep when it comes to applying foundation. And I didn't really do that today, so I'm curious if that had anything to do with how much more oily I ended up getting. So I'm gonna take this review a step further. I'm gonna do something a little bit risky that I don't typically do when I'm reviewing a foundation, but I am actually gonna wear this again tomorrow when I go to work. I have a full work day in the office tomorrow, so I am gonna wear this and I'm gonna do like my regular routine. So I'm gonna use my regular primers, my regular setting powders, my regular setting sprays. I'm just gonna do my full regular routine wearing this, and I'm gonna come back tomorrow and check in with you guys and see if that makes a difference, because I kind of want to give this like a fair shot before I just completely am like, which I'm not really at that point at this moment, but I do feel like right now if I had to pick between the two of these, I would pick this one. But I think this foundation actually has more oil controlling ingredients in it than this one does. But I do really like the skin like kind of look of this foundation, and I also like that it has niacinamide in it. So I don't want to give up on it just yet. I want to try it out with what would be my regular everyday routine with my everyday products, just to see how it wears throughout the day. So stay tuned, we're not done just yet. Normally I know I would be ending the video at this point. We're gonna do one more day of a wear test with our regular products. I'm gonna check back in with you guys in the morning. It'll be a quick check-in because I'll be rushing out to head to work, but just so that you guys can see the face at the start of the day. I'll wear it throughout the whole day. Also today, I didn't go out of the house, so that's another thing. I was just in the house all day and my face got pretty oily. Tomorrow I'll be out in the elements. I don't know what the weather is supposed to be tomorrow. It's been like mid-80s. So yeah, I'm gonna risk it all for y'all tomorrow, because normally when I go out, I only wear the products that I absolutely trust, but I do wanna give this one another go, like I said. So stay tuned for y'all. Again, it'll be like a second, but I'll be back in the morning to check back in with you guys for day 2 of this wear test. Good morning. So it is the next day. It is currently 8:20. I've actually had my face on since 8 o'clock because I had to do my hair, but I just wanted to check in with you guys really quickly before I run out for work. So this is what the face is looking like. To be honest, I do feel like my face feels like it's gonna hold up a lot better than it did yesterday, just doing my regular routine. I used my Smashbox water powder serum, the Yummy Skin Balm, and then my Smashbox Blurring Balm for my pores, my regular primer concoction, and then all of my other face products, complexion products. I use the same, and I still use the Huda Beauty loose setting powder to set under my eyes and my T-zone. So this is how we're looking to start the day. I'm headed out to work. Like I said, I have a full work day today, so I will check in with you guys a little bit later. Hey y'all, so I'm back as promised with another check-in for you guys. So it is currently 3:36. There is the time. So that means I have officially had this face on for 7 hours. Just to give you a little bit of, I guess, context, I was inside most of the day. Like I said, I told you guys I had to go in the office today, but it is 85 degrees. So yeah, on my way home, it was a little toasty, but this is what the face is looking like. Also this morning, I was kind of rushing a little bit, so I didn't have a chance to show you guys the primers that I use. I think I mentioned them, but I don't think I showed them to you. So if you know, you know, I just went in with my go-tos. So first I used the Smashbox water powder serum. This is my oil controlling primer. And then on top of that, I went in with the universal shade of the Yummy Skin Balm, which is also another oil controlling primer. And then just on my cheek area and like on my T-zone to kind of smooth and blur, I went in with the Smashbox Photo Finish primer. So that's kind of like my go-to primer concoction as of right now. And this is how the face is looking. It's still looking oily, but not nearly as much in my opinion as it did yesterday. And I did not touch up at work at all. So listen, I really rode hard for y'all today, because normally at work around lunchtime, I would kind of touch up my face so that I'm not looking oily throughout the day. But I didn't really have a way to do a check-in for you guys at work, so I just didn't touch up so you guys could see. So this is what we are looking like. A little bit oily in the normal places, but nothing too crazy. And in my opinion, I think this held up better than yesterday. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing I did yesterday and blot the skin, touch up, and then show you guys what it looks like after. All right, y'all, so this is how we're looking just after blotting the face. I'm gonna zoom y'all in just a little bit. Okay, so this is how we're looking. It did still settle in like in my nose area. I never know the best way to show y'all this, and I don't even know if it picks up on camera, but it definitely still settled around my nose area. So like if you look up closely, you can kind of see that it, like in the creases of my nose, it's separated. And today it also kind of separated around my smile lines, which that's not really anything that couldn't be fixed with additional powder, but just wanted to show you guys that. But everywhere else on the face still looks good. And I will say that this foundation definitely gives that blurring filtered effect, which I think I mentioned yesterday. But as far as like me having oily skin, it doesn't really do much for controlling oil. I don't think it claims to do that. I'm gonna zoom you guys back out. But if you do have oily skin, I know a lot of you guys that follow me have a similar skin type to me. Just want to kind of let you know that as far as controlling oil, you're going to want to really prep your skin beforehand for that part, because this foundation is not going to do that for you. So let's go ahead and go in. Same powder, Urban Decay All Nighter, and we're just going to basically do what I would have done at work if I was touching up my face. Okay, so this is how the skin is looking after touching up. I'm not gonna spray my face or anything because I'm not going anywhere else today, so I don't really need it to like stay in place. I thought about continuing to wear this. Well, maybe I will. So I'll spray my face. I'm just gonna go in with the Charlotte Tilbury airbrush finishing spray. This and the one size is what I used this morning to set my makeup. Okay, so we'll just kind of lock that in, and I'll just continue wearing it. I'm gonna try to go until 8 o'clock, so that will give us like a 12-hour wear test. So we have reset. This is assuming maybe we're about to go on a little date night, about to get some drinks, do a little happy hour, run some errands, gotta pick up the kids, whatever the case may be. We just did a touch up, we just got off work, and we need to keep going. So this is how we're looking. I would say the face is still looking pretty good. It's still looking blurred. You can tell it's a little worn in, but it's not anything too crazy. So we're gonna keep going, and then I'm gonna come back again at 8, give you guys another quick update just on where we're at, and then we'll go ahead and close out the video. All right, y'all, so I am back. Final check-in of the night. It is currently 8:40. Here is the time. There you go. And of course, as you guys saw at the beginning of the day today, I applied this face at like 8:30. So we have officially had this face on for 12 hours. This might be the longest wear test that I have ever done. And then on top of that, we did 2 days. So this is what the skin is looking like. I'm not gonna blot again because I think we already kind of have an idea of what it's giving. But as you can see, I did get a little bit more oily since the last time that I blotted the skin. But similarly to when I blotted earlier today, I think if I were to blot again, I could refresh this face once again and we could continue wearing it. But your girl is tired, so I'm about to wash this face off and start getting ready for bed. So I'm not even gonna waste my time or energy blotting because I've kind of shown you guys what that looks like. like. So let's go ahead and get into my final thoughts on this foundation. Well, let's start off with the primer. The primer I think is nice. The oil controlling piece, I don't know about that. Maybe for someone that is like combination, but if you are a true oily girl, I would not put all of my faith in this primer for controlling oil. Now for blurring and smoothing the pores, I think it did a great job. Am I going to keep it? Probably not, because I do have a ton of other smoothing primers that work great that I love, and I don't necessarily feel like this did anything amazing for like smoothing out the face. Now don't get me wrong, she's cute. I like that it's pink, and again, it does smooth and blur the face, but I think blurring and smoothing primers, they kind of all, well, I won't say all, but for the most part, a silicone kind of base primer, they kind of all give the same thing. Now this one is silicone free, but you guys get what I'm saying. That kind of texture, I feel like they all kind of do the same thing. So if you have a smoothing primer that you love, then I wouldn't say that this is like a game changer. But if you're looking for a smoothing primer and you want to try this out, I wouldn't discourage that, because it definitely does blur and smooth the skin. All right, so next up is the foundation. These two together, I think if you have dry skin or if you have normal skin, maybe even combination skin, you would probably love the two of these together. Again, like I said already, if you have oily skin, I would recommend prepping your skin a little bit more with more oil controlling primers. The foundation on its own, it did claim to be medium to buildable coverage. I think both yesterday and today, it did give me decent coverage. The initial application of it definitely gives a more like true medium coverage. So if you have things on your face that you want to cover, you're probably not gonna get that with just one layer, as you guys saw, but you can go in certain areas and just add a little bit more. I do like the packaging of this. I like the squeeze tube. It's really easy to apply it to the face, and it's perfect for on the go. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, I do also like that it has skincare ingredients in it. That's something that I've been getting into a lot more. Makeup products and just products in general that have skincare ingredients in them are a win for me. So I definitely like that not only does this have skincare ingredients in it, but it has niacinamide in it, and my skin loves niacinamide. Now, as far as the wear on this foundation, again, like I said, I think if you have dry, normal, or even combination skin, if you decently prep your skin, you will absolutely love this. It's going to give you that skin-like look to your face while also giving you that like blurred out look as well. If you have texture or if you have large pores, you probably will like the way that this looks on your face initially. If you have oily skin though, if you do not prep your skin with primers that are going to actually control your oil, you are going to be very, very oily by the end of the day, as you guys saw when I wore it yesterday. Now, when I wore it today, I do feel like it held up a little bit more. I am still oily, of course, but this is normal for me. So I have yet to come across a foundation where I've worn it for 8 hours and I did not get oily whatsoever. So I do kind of expect some of this, but I do like that if you look at my skin, it still looks good. Like, it hasn't really broken up. It hasn't moved around. Under my eyes is still flawless. And I do have large pores, so I do think that this area of my face does look blurred. So I will definitely give it that. Overall for me, I would probably give this foundation with my personal primer concoctions an 8. This is something I would reach for on days when I want something a little bit lighter, but I don't necessarily plan on needing it to be super long wearing. I would also reach for it on days when I do want to look put together. I do want my skin to look, you know, blurred and smooth. Maybe if I'm going out in the evening or if I'm going over a friend's house and I just kind of want to like look together and kind of have that light, fresh, skin-like look to the face, I would reach for this. If I'm going to be out in the sun, if I'm going to be out for a long period of time, if I'm going to be out in any situation where I'm going to be hot or sweating or just needing it to hold up for me, this would not be a foundation that I would reach for. However, I do think she launched this at a good time because we are going into the cooler months. So with that in mind, I could see this potentially wearing a little bit better on the skin. But again, as I mentioned to you guys, I can't remember if it was yesterday or today, she does also have the faux filter foundation. So out of the two, I would prefer personally the faux filter foundation because I do think that that one holds up a little bit better. It provides a little bit more coverage, but I do think that this is a nice addition to her lineup. So if you are someone that is not looking for full coverage, is not looking for something super oil controlling, and like I said, you want that more skin-like, light, wearable, fresh face look that still is going to give you that blurred out, smoothed out look over pores and texture, then this would be a good pick for you. Hopefully that makes sense. So yeah, girl, that is all that I have for you guys for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Comment down below and let me know if you like this style of video. I figured since I didn't give you guys the full makeup tutorial, I would give you something a little bit different. So definitely let me know if you enjoyed it. And be sure to also give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it or got something out of it so that other people can see it as well if they're interested in purchasing this foundation. So thanks so much again for watching, and I'll see y'all very soon in my next one.